goes to Josh Adams.
The hills are alive with the sound of screaming Porsches, and there's something exciting about being here in the Austrian hills and just getting to see the great things that are coming here on this round 4 of this 8-race championship. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here to Simu Nation. This is where we get ready for the fun, for the excitement here of the Simu Nation Sprint, the Porsche Cup here, brought to you by NOX Gaming. Simu Nation's Porsche Cup Championship, powered by NOX Gaming. Shop for all major sim racing brands under one roof. NOX Gaming also offers a PC building service throughout Canada, and Wolf Sim Racing builds high-end gear that will make the difference. Precision-engineered dashboards and mods designed for the ultimate performance. Don't just play a game, make sure you live it. Again, this is round 4 here on the 5th of March at the Redbull Ring. We went from Zolder 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago it was Road Atlanta, and 6 weeks ago, man, hard to believe it's been 6 weeks since we kicked this thing off in Mexico City. Hard to believe that at the end of this night, we will be halfway through this season in Long Beach. This is going to be wild. In the championship, well, nothing's decided at all. Anthony Landry, 222 points up with a win. Phil Bouchard with 8 points down. David Lamoureux, 38 points back. Archambault, La Charité, Norris, Mosley, Bort, Boyer, and Vincent, your top 10 here. As always, with me is Jacob Linke. Jacob, this points championship is pretty crazy right now.
Yes, it is. David Lamoureux on a hot streak of wins, able to try and get themselves up towards the top of the field. Anthony Landry able to keep it consistent enough to hold the top spot, but will we see a change in points lead by the end of the night?
I certainly would be surprised if we don't on the points. Something in the air tonight. And I don't know if it's just the fact that we're in Austria and the air is very different here in the hills, but something in the air gives me something. And as we talk about the hills, let's talk about this short track that a F1 car can run in sub 60 seconds. 10 corners here in Spielberg, 2.69 miles. We're running the Grand Prix layout, and you can have a conversation about how many corners this track is. Really, we say it's 10 corners, and I tell you what, some of these cars make it feel like it's just 6 as they go through. I'll be interested to see how these Porsche cars handle it. 5.5 minutes left to go in qualifying. It is, of course, myself, Brad, joined by Jacob Linke here. Jacob, good evening, my friend. It's been 2 weeks. We're back, and I'm ready for this one.
Yeah, I'm almost upset that we're halfway through this season, but the racing has been so good in the past few rounds. I just keep coming back and wanting more.
It's so much fun going through here as we hit live track pictures of the conditions at the moment. And a big shout out, of course, as always, to Sagar behind the scenes, bringing you the beautiful pictures that you're going to get here tonight as we go into live qualifying at the moment. Taking a look here at David Lamoureux as Archambault tops the timing table here. Lamoureux in second place trying to run through. I'm curious to see what that number 25 Porsche can bring tonight at a track where it's not going to be tenths of a second. It's not going to be hundredths of a second. It's going to be thousandths of a second that I think will make the difference here.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of drivers have put in countless hours at this track and various disciplines on various programs, but the experience that you got with the Porsche Cup over the course of this season and past seasons is going to help you more than anything right now, as we're watching David Lamoureux cross the start-finish line and on a flyer down into T1.
On the flyer, let's ride on board here. We go through turn 1, mind the sausage curve to the outside. You can catch yourself out with track limits very quickly, and then here we go. This left-hander they call turn 2. It's flat out. I don't consider it a turn, but we're going to call it turn 2 because that's what the track map says. Hard, uphill, off-camber braking through a hairpin right over 120 degrees there into turn 3, and now up the hill and down the hill we go. Let's continue through on. Again, the next corner, it's downhill braking. You have to really pick your point. You got to commit to the bit. You can't do anything too crazy. Down into second gear as you mind the curves to the inside. Now let the car wash out. And now it's flat down through the front S section as we go here. Brake right about 100 meters. Send it to the inside. Get as close to the white line as you can. And now on the throttle, let it wash out. Let it wash out, but don't wash out too far. You'll hit track limits. And again, same thing. Late apex here. Ride the curb. Come through. Straighten it out. Hit the S's. 2 more corners to go. You keep it flat. You keep it flat. Mind yourself up the hill. Now down, the pit entry is to the right, but you want to come to the left. Now send it in here. Hit the curb to the inside. Let it wash again. Watch that track limits there to the outside. No gravel in this run. Sausage curb on the final corner to the inside. You hit that and you'll find the outside wall, but if you do it just right, you can come around here and run a lap in just sub 90 seconds.
129.2 puts Lamoureux on pole, and I don't think we could have had a better exhibition of what to expect from this track as we see a car go around further back.
That was Phil Bouchard going around, and that is one of the things I think we'll see in turn 1 a little bit. Because here's the problem with Austria. Here is the problem with the Red Bull Ring. This is a track that demands precision. It demands that you are on your P's and Q's, but it's so hard on the tires. This is a track that if you aren't careful, your tires are gone before you even get through a lap, because it is just corners, it is just twisty, it is just fast, it does not stop.
Yep, I'm watching a lot of these other cars, Anthony Landry especially, making their way up, down, through the top section, downhill into the middle sector. He's got the 2 cars in front of him that are, it's Kevin Norris and the teammate in the 312, Arnaud Jeunesse. They're taking different lines through there. It looked like Jeunesse kind of like dropped off a little bit to let Kevin through. Everybody's wanting to get that last lap in by the end of this session. We only got 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
90 seconds left to go, just enough time for 1 lap, plus finishing up that little bit here as we go through, and Landry going through. Now, last time out, La Charité, 15-second lead won at Zolder. Do we think that La Charité can do anything to replicate that? I don't even see La Charité here today, unfortunately. So that is going to be an answer of no. Phil Bouchard, though, was 2nd place last time out, and he had about a 5-second lead over Archambault. As we see right now, Archambault leads Bouchard by 2 places and about a gap of 0.3 of a second.
And following along with the 124 right now, as he is on his hot lap through here, ends up pulling off the track. Might have gotten an off track that cut his time short there. Now taking a look at Jesse Mosley, currently sitting 8th on the board. 30 seconds left. He should have enough to finish out this lap, but is he going to have enough to push him further up the board?
Giving it a try here, trying to see what Mosley can do coming along through, and I love seeing that run from the curbs there as they go over. Again, this is a track that, in iRacing terms, it's not got anything too crazy with it. It's a great track, but this is a track where, you know, the 3D curbing and the aggressiveness of that isn't as bad here, and it's a track that really you hop onto, and I kind of call this the friendliest track in sim racing. You know, there's the iconic tracks that I love to talk about is the Checkered Flag Falls here on qualifying, and I'm going to finish this thought real quick. Jacob, there's the iconic tracks that I talk about that everyone should know how to put laps down on. I'm thinking Daytona Road. I'm thinking Le Mans. I'm thinking Sebring even. Tracks that if you drive road courses regularly, you should be able to be pretty comfortable with. Spa's on that list. This track, I think if you are new to sim racing, is probably the easiest track to start out with because it forces you to learn so many things quickly, and it's such a short lap that if you have a problem, it's not the end of the world. You're not restarting a 4-minute lap. You're restarting 90 seconds, sometimes shorter depending on the class of car.
I'll agree with the Spa comment. I would also put Monza on that list because it gives you an opportunity to check and make sure that you're good through a lot of the lower speed chicanes. This track in particular as well helps you deal with elevation change as well, as we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
That we are. And as we get results pulled up, this is also going to be your qualifying done and dusted. Lamoureux up in the front with Arnaud Genest will round out your front row. That 312, a 10th and a half, 0.17 off there. A quarter of a second back is Anthony Landry. And from there, we go Patrick Archambault in P4. It's going to be Phil Bouchard in P5 with Kevin Norris in 6. It will be Tommy Baroque in P7. 8th place will be Jesse Mosley, and then Francis Fortin in P9 with Dominic Croteau in P10.
Lord takes P11, Olivier Languedoc in 12th, Pierre Laporte in 13th, Valentin Oziganov in 14th, Mathieu Prudhomme in 15th, Guillaume Boyer in 16th, Jael Parent 17th, Benjamin Gagnon in 18th, Laughlin. Like it's cut off on my end over here. I apologize. Max Mason of 19th, Francis Trafal in 20th, Johan Morency in 21st, Sebastien Delage in 22nd, Brett Swift in 23rd, and Simon Seguin in 24th for your 24 car field.
That sets the stage for 40 minutes of racing here at the Red Bull Ring. I tell you what, if you didn't drink a Red Bull before this race, you probably don't want to drink one now because you'll be up for a while here as we get things set up. Who's got the right strategy? Who can save the tires? Who can keep it together here? Lamoureux and Genest on that front row are going to be very, very exciting as we let this starting grid scroll through and we get ready for racing here in Red Bull. Landry and Archambault again, that P3, P4 combo. And then Bouchard, Norris, P5, P6, 7th, 8th, Baroque and Mosley. And then the top 10 finished out by 410 and Croteau as they get set. I'm excited to see how this standing start goes. Jacob, I don't know about you.
I am as well, and I think we might be getting going here in a second.
Let's see here as we buckle things up. Pull your belts tight one time here as we get ready to send these cars screaming around the hills, waiting on the second place car to get on the grid. They are there. Now we're waiting on Kevin Norris. Kevin Norris, you are being called to the grid. Kevin Norris is now on the grid. So it's just a matter of when those green lights drop. We just got to wait and see. You never know when that will be. iRacing loves to surprise every once in a while with these jump starts and go through if you are not careful. Let's see here. Who's your pick of the race? Let's see. Jacob, my pick of the race, I'll say it now. I think I'm going for Patrick Archambault.
Give me our current points leader, Anthony Landry.
All right, well, that's a very, very good start. So we're saying somebody on the second row. We're not even saying Lamoureux and Genest are going to win it here. So unfortunately, if you're on that front row, if you do win, great. We called it wrong. If you don't win, it's not our fault. Green flag flies. And we're away for 40 minutes here in the Austrian Hills as we go through side by side. Genest, Lamoureux in the front. Landry trying to go to the inside here into turn one. Side by side through turn one we go. Where do they stop? Well, they got to stop on the exit of turn one. There we go. And up front, Lamoureux holds on here. Lamoureux, Genest, Landry, and Bouchard. Single file heading towards turn three.
Everybody looks like they got through turn one clean. Everybody trying to go single file, except for our P2 and P3 cars. Genest up the inside, trying to go onto the outside of Lamoureux. They make contact with Landry. Now Landry's side by side with Phil Bouchard as they make their way down the downhill.
Somehow doesn't lose places in that in that roll through. Archibald's lost 2 places here on the jump as we watch this battle for position here for 3rd place, really all the way through. Watch the 124 of Archibald down the inside, trying to make a move stick here into turn number 5 as we go, and still not able to capitalize. Inside will sweep back to outside, and well, you can see why this track can be challenging in race conditions, because the corners go one way then the other. You think you set up a move, you don't make it. The outside turns to inside though. Archibald on Baroque trying to make this move stick through. And I do believe, no, never mind. Again, that inside to outside, and now it's going to be the outside for turn 9 and 10 here, side by side, as they head towards the downhill double apex.
Yep, that's Burke and Archambault rolling through turns 9 and getting into 10 here. Archambault over the curb there, getting pushed wide, and Caven Norris is just watching, waiting for these two to make a mistake to capitalize, and he's going to make a move down the front stretch.
I don't know how Archambault kept that together, and also big hats off to Tommy Bort giving the space there going through, because that was impressive. A lot of hard racing still going through. Tommy going through now with Caven Norris there, the 774 and the 8 on your screen side by side for P number 6. How do they handle turn 3? Side by side braking into turn 3, cut the inside a little bit sooner, but the number 28 is going to run it through, hit the sausage curb, keep it together though, and they are going to keep it side by side for another lap. I tell you what, this is going to be action all the way through.
Norris keeps the position. Burt gets the momentum on exit there. They're both going to go side by side into this corner as well. Burt going to rotate around the outside. He's got Norris has a nose in and ends up getting that position covered off as they get into the middle sector.
Continuing to push through, finally sorting things out after half a lap. And again, yes, that was half a lap of battling here going into the back half of the track. Again, this is such a short track that by the time we kind of get through a run, we go into another run here as we head down. Check in on the leaders, half a second separating David Lamoureux and Arnaud Geneste as they head down through the Red Bull Mobile. That is the name of the final corner, also known as turn 10, also known as turn 7 if you're me and you love to not look at corner names. So this is what's going to be exciting here as we head up into the Niki Lauda curve, turn number 1. Good uphill braking right-hander, mind the sausage curve to the outside. Lamoureux looking comfortable, top 5 looking comfortable, but Landry looks like he's a little bit hungry there to get past Bouchard.
Yep, Landry and Bouchard. Bouchard's up 2 spots over Landry and Archambault. Archambault's catching this lead group once again, currently sitting in 5th. Landry wanting that 4th spot, wanting that 3rd spot back from Bouchard as they're going uphill now.
Keeping things together as they go uphill and around, and here is the fun of the track. We're starting to see that light little single file run go through. The 191 of Gilles Perrin trying to get past Laporte in the 662, or sorry, no, Laporte in the 662 trying to get past the 191. Never mind, they swap positions again before we can process a little bit of bumper to bumper, front to rear there. That's a short track move. I've been looking at a lot of oval racing lately, and I tell you what, I think they're at Bristol, not the Red Bull Ring. Short tracks nevertheless, but hey, the bump and run, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and well, Jacob, I mean, I didn't know Porsches could bump and run, but apparently they're trying it here. Going through, watch the track limits here coming down through the S's. And now as we head towards turn 9 and 10 again, we'll see how they go. And if they swap positions yet again, 116 of Maisonneuve down to the inside.
Maisonneuve covers off that run through turn 9, rotating in on the right-hander to turn 10, ends up having to give that position to the outside. Perrin to the outside of him, just trying to shuffle back in to get the good position for the for the entry to turn 1. Maisonneuve still covering that off as they go through 1.
Continuing to keep things pretty tidy back here in the back of the top 20 as they go. Maisonneuve holding on here at the moment in P17 going along. Just look one way, look the other, and try not to do anything too crazy here as the 191 of Gilles Perrin is still looking to try to get past Perrin. Down 1 place on the day so far. Laporte in P16 is down 3 places on the day so far, just ahead of this car we're looking at. As we go, the 662 trying to find some additional time running through and continuing the battle. Fastest car on track right now is not your race leader. fastest car on track is P3, and some of the most aggressive battling on track is still right here outside of the top 10. It's Mosley, it's Bort, it's Francis 410. They are keeping this battle very lively here for P7, 8, 9.
Yep, those three battling two teammates for that 7th position. Mosley has a position right now. Burke trying to fish back that place that he lost to Mosley on this initial run, as we're just under 10 minutes elapsed in this race.
It's hard to believe that we're just now hitting a quarter of the race done. It's been a very, very quick, hard-fought race already. And again, this is round 4 of the season. We've had 3 rounds before this, and let's talk about what we learned through the previous rounds. Round 1 was Hermanos Rodriguez Otomano here as we go, and again on screen here, hard battle. This is going to be Kevin Lord and Kevin Lord and Ogzenov going through. Prudhomme there in the middle going through. Watch the 35 of Languedoc going through and along. Round 1, we saw a lot of great battles, and it was Anthony Landry, Phil Bouchard, and Patrick Archambault. They were P1, P2, P3 respectively. In Atlanta, round 2, it was La Charite, Landry, and Lamoureux, with Bouchard finishing in 4th place, just off of the podium. And then last time out 2 weeks ago, it was La Charite, Bouchard, Archambault, Landry, and current leader Lamoureux was running in P5 when it was all said and done, just barely out of the run for the top 4. Right now, Lamoureux looking very content, but I tell you what, Arnaud Geneste has closed that gap down here up front. We're seeing this close through. Bouchard is currently lapping in similar pace, but Landry in 4th is still the fastest car on track, 3/10 faster than the leader last lap out.
Geneste pushing a much more aggressive line through the corners than Lamoureux there. You can see it into turn 1 as we see 3 wide down the front stretch. Once again, this is Mathieu Prudhomme in the battle further back. Languedoc to the inside just has to back off onto the curb as he's going to get bypassed because he had to back off way too much.
Boyer, Languedoc, and Laporte, now they try to sort it out. This is where things can get kind of hairy, kind of spicy. Look one way, look the other. What do? If you're the 35 at Languedoc, you're going to go right up the inside, force the situation through. That's a quick way to clear. And now can you get the grip on exit and the speed that you need to hold through to go after Boyer? You can, you do, and you continue along up here. Kevin Lord, welcome in, Rolex. You make a move on the number 69 of Dominic Croteau. That's a very nice move, if I do say so myself, to get yourself up into P10.
Very well put as they get into this middle sector, able to run that inside line on the curb. Not a lot of opportunity for passing through here. You have to wait, save your momentum, and bank for a run down towards 9 and 10 before you can even think about making that move.
Not done here, and no, never mind. We hold on to it for the moment. Not enough pace there from the number 69 to try to make a pass on the 125 as they go down through turn 9, turn 10. Here we go. You can see everybody trying to keep it tidy through turn 9 on that run. You have to watch track limits there. If you run off of the red curbing, it is track limits. It's a little bit nicer than anything Formula 1 does. Of course, Formula 1 here at the Red Bull Ring, they say the white lines are the track limits. And then, well, we end up with situations where they just randomly hand out penalties after the race because they can't keep track of it because everyone knows Formula 1 and track limits don't actually exist. But here in iRacing, they're smart about it and say red curve. So you get a little bit more wiggle room. It's really nice to kind of see here. Here we go, the 35 of Languedoc down the inside on the 662 of Laporte. We've seen this move once, we see this move again. What a great run up the inside into turn 3, but can you make it stick on the long run to 4? The 662 slots in. The answer is yes, but do you have to defend it into turn 5?
Oh, contact.
Little bit of wiggle. 116 is going to go up the inside. Maisonneuve.
A lot of heavy contact between those 3 cars right then. Maisonneuve able to get that position, but not before Laporte made some contact with Languedoc just up ahead.
I tell you what, this is getting aggressive. I made a comment earlier joking about how they were bump drafting and bump and runs here like they were in a Bristol race. Guys, this is one of the shortest road courses we can run, but we don't have to treat it like it's an actual short track, and this isn't NASCAR. These are Porsche cars. Let's keep the bumping a little bit down, but then again, I like the action. I like the hard racing, and it shows you these guys really, really care about what they're doing as they go along. The battles are hard and dusted, and again, this is back in P16, 17, 18, respectively. This is not for the lead, but doggone if every point doesn't matter, and they're going to make it work here as Laporte in the 662, again, looking to try to set up some sort of a run here.
10 minutes have elapsed, and they need to make that run because they're running out of time quick. 116, Maisonneuve trying to make a move to the outside on long dock, up into the top section, uphill, long braking, long dock to the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact on exit there, and they're going to be side by side still as they head towards the downhill.
And down towards the downhill we go. Sweep a little bit right, sweep a little bit left. I think I've called this turn 6, turn 5. It's actually turn 4 as we go through. Watch the braking there on the exit of 4. This is turn 5 actually, and this left-hander coming up is turn 6. So you got to be careful a little bit here coming through, because this is where that speed delta, and if somebody's a little bit more confident on the brakes, has a little bit more grip in the tires, that's where we start to see those heavy contacts hit, because that downhill braking, if you brake just a millisecond later, you're trying to find that little something extra to get ahead. It just produces all of the difference here on the run as we go through the 116 of Maisonneuve. Again, still defending from Languedoc as they go along here. Out of turn 9, clean exit of 9, now into 10. Watch the sausage grab to the inside, and then let the car sweep wide. That's a little bit too wide for Maisonneuve as they go along here, but it looks like no harm, no foul, no positions need to be given up, no track limits to be yelled at right now. And up the hill to turn 1 they go yet again. Still trying to make a move. Jumping back up here, P7, P8, Mosley and Bort as they go through that 28 hard on the brakes into turn 3, leaving no space to be found.
Mosley able to get it back down. Burke able to get it woed up before he ran into the back of him as they were bumper to bumper on the uphill, now through the downhill towards the towards that hairpin, getting into the middle sector once again. And I think Burke either might have some nose damage there, and if that I don't know if that's what I saw properly, but his splitter might be having some issues here.
Definitely looks like a small issue being had here as we go along, and that is just one of the things you have to watch here. If you run too far on the gravel, if you bump the car around you, you cause any sort of aero damage. This is a track that can really punish that. A lot of high-speed corners that demand that you have the right amount of downforce to really handle them. You lose a little bit of downforce, you got to lift a little bit. You got to lift a little bit, you lose some speed, and it snowballs all the way through. 26 minutes left to go in this race, and you see some pretty significant front-end damage there on that 28. As we go up front, Lamoureux and Geneste now battling it out. They continue along. Fastest lap of the race last lap for Arnaud Geneste, going through. Only about a tenth faster, though, than Lamoureux as they go through along. Phil Bouchard there trying to hang on in the run as well, trying to find some pace to be found. And then Landry, again in P4, has lost momentum. I think Landry, unfortunately, used everything up early because Archambault there in P5 looks very, very close to P4.
Or he's backing off, so he has more of a run towards the end of this one. Once again, Geneste trying to go to the outside for the lead here, has to back out of it, doesn't get the switchback as they get into the middle sector. We'll see if he takes a more aggressive line to try and get Lamoureux on exit.
He's got to be decisive. This is going to be the problem here for him, is he has to commit to the move. There can be no half looks, and this is something that we've seen all season here in the Porsche Cup that I've noticed from a lot of drivers, and this is something that I think it's become a trend, and it's something I've noticed, is a lot of drivers like to do half peaks. They like to just halfway look at a move and see if they can just scoop the driver in front to backing out and giving them the position. When you hit, in lower tiers of sim racing, that works because preservation is a factor. You're looking at survival. You want to survive the race, so it's not worth that one position there of going for a hard battle. When you get up into some of these upper levels and some of these hard fights in sim racing, you've got guys that are gonna go for gonna stick their nose out, and the other guy's gonna say, okay, if you go for it, you're gonna wreck me, and that's on you. I don't care. So if you're gonna look for a move, you've gotta commit to the move, and it's something that we see a lot of guys do that half peak at, but people don't really fall for that anymore.
Speaking of committing for moves, Cruteau and Lord have swapped this position multiple times over the course of the past 15 minutes. Lord now trying to battle back with Cruteau, and they enter the downhill toward the hairpin into the middle sector. There's a line of cars further back that's trying to get on position for them as well.
Continuing to keep this battle well and alive here at the moment as these drivers go along. Again, I love seeing the train of Porsches go along, because all it takes is one person to get a little brave and a little late on the brakes and a little bit of just a confidence move, or hey, it takes one car in the front of this train to have one small error to just absolutely pull this race apart and cause absolute carnage and excitement. And that's what we see just behind there as we go through. This is the 116. Maisonneuve yet again here on the mix, dips a wheel into the gravel, trying to hold on there from Boyer, isn't able to, and now we continue along. And again, Maisonneuve, I think, has maybe used a little bit too much of those tires. The 116 dips a wheel in the gravel again out of turn number 8. And now as we go along here towards 9 and 10, Maisonneuve, do you have anything to say? It's hard on the brakes. It's a big wiggle out of 9, comes back on. A big defense there from the 35 of Languedoc as they go through. Goodness gracious me, Maisonneuve, you have definitely demanded a lot of the tires today.
Yep, burn him up. He has to try and get this gate up and start relaxing a little bit. He can't because he's under fire right now, but the only way he's going to be able to have any tires left for the end is to cool off a little bit and try and retake his line.
Here's the problem. You don't get to cool your tires at this point. 35 say, you know what, I'm not going to hang around for this, and the 662 going to try to follow along as well. Goodness gracious me, Languedoc looking to make a move, and then Laporte trying to come through as well. Maisonneuve now coming to the left, pulling out of line here. The 116 trying to look through the 662, now possibly losing the position along, and now the 191 of Gilles Perrin is going to look around the outside. Can we switch it back? The answer is going to be a resounding no at the moment. Goes through, and somehow through all of that, Maisonneuve holds on to P15.
Saw a little bit of bumper being used by the 35 there on Maisonneuve, just trying to get to the back bumper of them and get a little bit of nose in there for the position. More close running for Laporte and Perrin just behind them. Perrin able to hold on to it, and Laporte goes through on the inside. These two heading down towards 9.
All right, so a lot of drivers have taken the definition of bull seriously. We're at the Red Bull ring, and there's a big bull there in the center, and they've very clearly been inspired by that because they're going for some hard racing. Up front here, Bort and Mosley battling it out here, the 28 and the 8 as they go along. Let's see how this goes here. Can they make a move at the moment? Jesse Mosley down to the inside, hard on the brakes into turn 3, way too hard on the brakes, a little bit early. And I think, unfortunately, that might put them under pressure from Francis Fortin behind the 23 here. Let's see if Fortin can make a move here going down towards turn 4.
Doesn't look like any obvious damage on Mosley just then. I think they might have made some contact with Burke's rear bumper. Had to back it off, and Fortin trying to capitalize on the opportunity and move himself further up into the top 10.
Fortin not able to make the pass there into 4, settling into the rhythm as we go. Checking back in. Here we go. This is the 69, the 125, and the 166. If I could write a storybook on these 3, I would. If we had a camera that we could leave up 24/7 on these 3, I would. Because Kevin Lord has been in the mix here. Cruteau in the mix as well. And then you have Prudhomme, who is in the mix as well. These 3 will not leave each other alone, not give each other a millisecond of breathing room, and they are demanding utter perfection out of each other. And we're half race distance with half to go. This has to hit a boiling point sooner or later, and I have a feeling it might be coming sooner.
Lord switches back, trying to make any sort of move he can. Contact with Prudhomme from behind. Lord pushes to the inside. Cruteau takes a wide exit all the way to the inside of the front stretch, and I think he might have a track limit up here, so he's going to back off on the inside, cover it off, and Lord gets by Prudhomme and then more behind. Oh, contact!
Oh, we're not done! That's big contact there. That's the 34 of Oxennob coming through as well. That was a big moment there going through for them as they try to sort each other out going down into turn 3, excuse me, and they're not done. 5-car battles still going along. Here we go. Lord Prudhomme lead this, and then it's Ozignov there in the purple. In the black car is, of course, Cruteau going through, and now we invite the 203 of Boyer to come through as well. The 166, the 125, Prudhomme, Kevin Lord, they come through. I said this was hitting a boiling point. I think we just flash boiled as Lord down the inside. Here we go, Prudhomme outside. Kevin Lord still holding that inside. Ozignov now just sitting behind, and again, Cruteau had, I agree with you there, Jacob. He had something happen in turn 1. It took him, unfortunately, down in this running order, and now he's got to fight his way back up.
Prudhomme with an excellent run to get to the front of this pack. He's into the back end of the top 10. We are in the back half of this race as we've just passed the 21 minutes elapsed mark. More moves, Cruteau trying to make it to the inside and slot in before we hit turn 9. Kevin Lord now fighting back to get to the back bumper of Prudhomme.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you keeping track on the battle of your screen, Genest is now going for the lead here as Lamoureux had been going through and holding on, and he had that gap up to 7/10. It's closed down, but that pass isn't there. This is hard side by side in the back of the top 10 because here we go. That is Boyer in the 203 trying to work his way around the number 69 of Cruteau going through. And then again, this has invited Laporte, the 662, to come in with company as well. They continue to keep that battle well dusted, done, and alive. And goodness gracious me, side-by-side contact there. Bumps Cruteau a little bit to the inside, and that lets Boyer go a little bit wide. They hold on, and they still run side-by-side down the backstretch towards turn 4. I don't know if I'm going to make it another 18 minutes with this racing.
Since that incident that Cruteau had on the exit onto the front stretch, he has dropped 4 spots. Meanwhile, Tommy Burke and Mosley back at it once again. There was a little bit of an incident again. Tommy Burke still holding on to that lead. As you can see, he's got that nose damage, but he might have some issues further back. Meanwhile, we got a 3-car battle for the lead now with Lamoureux, Genest, and Phil Bouchard has put his name into the running. Phil Bouchard said, hey, guys, remember me? I'm here. Make sure you talk about me on the broadcast at least once or twice. I finished second last week, so I want to make sure you at least talk about me once or twice here today. 17 minutes left to go. Bouchard definitely going to be looking for a move as we jump back to 203. Look at Boyer crabbing. Look at that. We've got some damage here. Let's pull up a replay, and oh, it was something wrong there going into turn 6 and 7. No, I did not just make a 6-7 joke, but I had to acknowledge 6-7. What happened there with the 203, Boyer? Well, I think we know what happened with the 203 because we had great battles going on there, and I said it was going to hit a boiling point, and I have a feeling, Jacob, that boiling point was made. I see some damage on some cars. Might have been a little too much curb through the middle sector, exiting out of Roush, and just ended up taking him through the grass and into the barrier, and that is very likely his day done. So heartbreaking for a car that's looked so fast. 662, look at this, a dive down the inside from Laporte on Cruteau. That is a big move there. The 69 definitely not looking the fastest car on the run. Further up, though, Kevin Lord and Ozignov, they are running through. Prudhomme, apologies there in the front, and then it's Lord, and then it's Ozignov as they go through and continue their battle. The big battles continuing here for the last place in the top 10. Whoa, words escape me here sometimes. 15 minutes, 45 seconds as we continue along here. Prudhomme, Lord, Ozignov, they go through in the run. We check back in for the lead again. Here we go. This is the best move it's looked all day. The 312 of Genest trying to make a move. We're going to switch it back on Lamoureux. The fastest car on track right now is actually Phil Bouchard in P3. So let's keep an eye on these top 3 here for a moment. This is where things are going to get interesting. Here we go. Are we going to go 3 wide into turn 4? We're thinking about 3 wide into turn 4. It goes side by side into turn 4 as we go, and a little bit of bumper there from Bouchard onto Genest as they go through. Lamoureux still holding on to the front. Genest not able to capitalize, but for a moment, for a brief moment, it was there. Meanwhile, Lamoureux and Genest battling has pulled Anthony Landry and Archambault back into this battle. All 5 of those cars in close proximity with 15 minutes to go, and with that move by Bouchard just trying to back off before he hit Genest, that has pulled Landry just within less than a half a second of him.
This race is not over, and we are under 15 minutes to go. So make sure if you're here, you lock in, you get ready for some hard racing with 15 minutes to go. This is the closest we've seen a battle for the lead in the 4 races we've had so far. And again, we have 4 more races to go after this. So if this is the closest battle we've seen so far halfway through the season, it's hard to think with another 8 weeks to go how that racing is going to tighten up, how things are going to capitalize, and just what's going to happen. Here we go. Bouchard down the inside of the 312 of Lamoureux, or Jeunesse, leaves enough room there. No, they bump! And somehow both cars save it there on the exit of turn 3, but that is going to produce a little bit of a slow run out of the corner that's going to open them up to an attack from Landry, from Archambault. They're not close enough, though, to capitalize. And look at this. Even with that, Jeunesse going for a move on Lamoureux into 4, not able to capitalize on it. It's a lot of trying, but somebody's got to make it stick eventually.
Lot of contact between Jeunesse and Bouchard there, and that still hasn't given an advantage to Lamoureux, as Jeunesse was just able to get right back up to the back bumper of the 25 for the lead on board with Bouchard, circling these corners through the middle sector, able to track as like he's going full throttle through this section, backs it off onto the brakes, downshift into 9, down into 10. He's going to try and carry a lot more momentum. Jeunesse had to back off a little bit, and they're going to have a good run down the front stretch into 1.
That was millimeters on the limit of track limits there as we're on the Bouchard, as we watch him go through millimeters from track limits. You can see just how precise these drivers here up at the top are with those track limits, with those runs as we go through. Now, let's head down the long straight here through towards turn 2, the left-hander under the bridge, and then into turn 3 as we go. Anyone looking for a move? Again, that 73 braking offline, going down, looking for it, not able to capitalize, but it's a little bit of overlap on the exit, and it forces the 312 of Jeunesse to slightly compromise his exit as he looks. Now, here's the problem for Jeunesse. Do you care about the car behind you at the moment, or are you going full attack up front? What is your MO at the moment? And I think right now for Jeunesse, he's not under as much pressure as it feels. Right now, Bouchard and Landry is the big battle that I see. Those two are pressure in a pressure pot, just waiting to be done with a beautiful pot roast at the end. And right now, it looks like that pot roast is going to be Archambault flavored with the way they're going through.
All 5 of these cars still extremely close together, with the more contact with Jeunesse and Bouchard. It's brought Landry up to the back bumper of Bouchard, and the one person that needs to get it stepped out while these guys are battling is Lamoureux. He has not been able to gain that much time on Jeunesse. In fact, Jeunesse is back into a position where he might make another run up that hill and get side by side with him again.
Here's the problem for Lamoureux. I don't think he's the fastest Porsche on track right now. I think genuinely the fastest car is in P2. I think it's Jeunesse, but Jeunesse is so busy with Bouchard behind, not able to go for a pass and not able to get enough of an overlap to try to go for a pass here. Now, this is the most breathing room Jeunesse has had. Lamoureux defends the inside here. Jeunesse to the outside. The outside really would be the better line. Lamoureux's going to force Jeunesse to go wide. Has to hit that sausage curb. Has to back out. No, that is strong defense into turn 3. That's defense that Jeunesse will be throwing the fist up and saying, you pushed me wide. And for Lamoureux, Lamoureux will say, well, I was on the inside. It was my line. And we'll see how that plays out here again into turn 4. Will it be the same strategy? It's hold the line there just to the inside, and unfortunately here in the Red Bull ring, that is how you defend, but we're not done. Side by side now into turn 6 they go, and this inside will work better here through here for Jeunesse. Jeunesse holds it. Jeunesse to the lead.
Not done yet. Lamoureux is trying to switch it back and get back to the fender of Jeunesse, able to slot back in. Bouchard took a look there, and all 3 of these cars are going to be vying for that position into 9. The 25 still all the way taking that more aggressive line to the inside, trying to get a run for Jeunesse. Bouchard with his bumper on Lamoureux. Jeunesse trying to step it out a little bit more, and down onto the front stretches, these guys are still under a blanket.
Remember what I said earlier with Kevin Lord, Ozgnov, Laporte, Hom, Boyer, Masonovis? We're up the inside of a bumper. That's big contact there through turn 1, but I think everyone got away with it. Remember what I said earlier with the battle for P10, that was waiting to explode? This battle for the top 5 is waiting to explode. Will any of these cars finish in the top 5 at this rate? They're racing so hard. The 39 to the outside, everyone holds the line. The 39 of Landry goes to the outside, has to drop back down into 4th, might lose out from Archambault into 5th place. The 124 holding on to the outside is going to be down, and Archambault 5th. Landry, Bouchard, Lamoureux, and Jeunesse now has the lead.
Advantage Jeunesse. He has got the biggest gap that we've seen from the leader in the past 15 minutes or so. Meanwhile, we're into the final 10 minutes of this race. They know it's crunch time. They need to get going, and they're fighting like their race depends on it.
9 minutes to go. We jump back here to P12. Ozgnov and Laporte, the 662 and the 34. Battling things out, and they have the company of Croteau behind as well. That number 69 car just doesn't seem to stay out of the picture here. Always in a position to try to make a move here. Down the inside towards turn 4, the 662 with Laporte looks not able to capitalize there. Into turn 4, we've seen a lot of those moments of trying to look into turn 4, but that is a hard place to make a pass stick.
Tried to make a move again. Meanwhile, taking a look back up at the front runners. We got Landry under fire from Archambault once again. They've broken off. They've fallen off the back of the lead 3 just now. Landry trying to catch back up to the back bumper of Bouchard. Meanwhile, these 3 still under a blanket. Jeunesse leading over Lamoureux, takes that outside line. Lamoureux trying to run it inside, takes that a little bit of a wide run from Jeunesse as Bouchard is stuck his nose in there. They're side by side for a second. Jeunesse taking that momentum from the outside all the way down to the downhill.
The audible woe from the producer Sagar tells me all I need to know. This is hard-fought racing. That was an amazing move from Lamoureux down the inside. Look at Bouchard right on the back bumper. Side by side they go. They're keeping it clean still. 7.5 minutes to go with the run. Jeunesse, Lamoureux, Bouchard, they hold it side by side again through turn 6. They sweep around, but that 312 just able to capitalize. The 25 of Lamoureux not able to switch back here and find any momentum. Bouchard again, P3 just back in the back saying, you know what, you two battle it out, and as soon as you give me the opportunity, I'll sweep around both of you and go into the lead here. Again, no surprise at the moment. These top 5 racing so hard here like their life depends on it. 7 minutes to go. There's a championship still with plenty of gap to be decided, and these drivers all want their name at the top when we leave tonight.
And those opportunities have been few and far between. Trying to go for that lead. Bouchard looking to the inside, maybe thinking about a move into 1, decides against it. Jeunesse still leading this group of cars through turn 1 into the uphill. Lamoureux still trying to track him back down. Everybody underneath almost a half a second as we get towards the back end of this race.
As they continue to battle here, watch this, the 25 again, Lamoureux, great defense to the inside. The 312 covers it off there with Jeunesse that time, knows what was trying to happen to the inside, covers it off, and Bouchard says, you know what, I saw you do that last lap, I'm going to try to defend it this lap, I'm going to try to take P2 this lap. Let's see what happens here as they go along and move their way through side by side into 4. Still contact. They are not done at all as they go through. They've sorted out single file as they've battled up front. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, if Valentin Ozgnov is your favorite driver, he's unfortunately had a moment, dropped all the way down to P21, and is unfortunately looking like that is where the race is going to finish for them. Up here in the front, though, it's still anything can happen. Watch the gravel there on the exit of 7.
Pushing the limit, trying to get around this middle sector onto the good exit for turn 9. Lamoureux still out in front of the cars behind Jeunesse, trying to track him down. Jeunesse out as far as 3/4 of a second out front, getting towards 5 minutes to go. They got to make their moves here soon.
You gotta make the move soon, and when you make it, it has to stick. You cannot not commit. This is the time where if you're gonna make it, it's got to be there. So let's see how this goes here. Oh, the 124 with a big swipe left to right there. That is Archambault looking for a move here. And again, the 25 and the 73, Bouchard, Lamoureux, they hold on there. The 124 trying to make a move as well, trying to find the way through. They work side by side again, and while they do this, Jeunesse is looking in the rearview mirror and saying, you know what, y'all figure that out. I want the win here. Jeunesse has been the fastest car on track by just margins, but it was a half-second up last lap, and you see that gap still there. Whoa! No, that's
Contact!
Landry around.
Landry making contact, and Archambault having to stop as well from that contact. That has dropped these guys massively off. We're seeing the exit out of turn 3 into that downhill section. The 124 and 39 making contact on the braking down to the middle sector here, trying to get into the hairpin. 39 on the outside just takes a little bit too far inside line. The 124 pushes up off the curb, make contact, and that is going to be their run for the lead done for the time being, as they are now 7 seconds behind Phil Bouchard in third.
I was not expecting that to end like that, but it does, unfortunately. That leaves 3 up front with 4 minutes to go. Jeunesse, Lamoureux, Bouchard. They now need to scrap it out for the podium. And Jeunesse, I said, was the fastest car on track, was 0.3 of a second slower than Lamoureux last lap. This is going to be where things get interesting. All that gap that Jeunesse had built up is now gone. And now for Lamoureux and Bouchard, it's a matter of, do they have enough in the tank to take the battle? And Bouchard with a big charge out of 3 here. Side by side, they'll go down the backstretch here, heading towards turn number 4. We'll see if they're able to go for the pass here. Side by side yet again. It is Bouchard to the inside. It's Lamoureux to the outside. Hard on the brakes. That's some defensive driving. And the 25 says, no, you hold on there. I want to run this outside line. And I'm going to sweep the outside to the inside and see if I can't just keep P2 here. And the answer is not at the moment. They hold side by side, a little bit of contact. 73 lifts, and there it is. So Lamoureux holds P2 for now.
Lamoureux had the advantageous line through the middle sector there with the back-to-back left-handers. Bouchard not giving up, though. He got a great exit out of that turn, going down into 9 on the outside, taking as much curb as he can, rotating, and he's just far behind, but he's going to have a great exit onto the front stretch and might catch him to make a move into turn 1.
This is going to be absolutely amazing to see here as they go along and continue to keep their battle alive. Let's watch here down into turn 1. Bouchard still right on the mix there on the rear of Lamoureux. This is the point where drivers are going to be doing everything they can. If they have some track limit cuts they can make, if they've saved some incident points in the pocket, they're going to use them now. If they've done any sort of tire saving at any point, which I don't know how you would at this point, they're going to be using that now. They're doing everything. Oh, that's a hard hit there from Bouchard to Lamoureux. That is a bump and run that was unintentional, I'd imagine. And you can see the 73 massive front bumper damage there. And for the 25, that is going to be massive rear diffuser damage. That is a big hit there between those two. And I have a feeling that might cement P2 and P3 here. 1:45 to go.
Looks like it did worse to Bouchard as we see this battle further back. Once again, Kevin Lord, Prudhomme, Fortin, all the way down, all the way towards the uphill. These three just trying to jockey for position with 1.5 minutes left to go. Prudhomme up the inside into the hairpin, the right-hander. Prudhomme gets a great exit. Lord still keeping that 10th position, chasing him down towards the downhill as we make it toward the middle sector.
This is just getting absolutely crazy as it goes along here, and we're not done. Lord, look at this. Prudhomme down the inside. Kevin Lord to the outside for 10. Back in the back as well. These guys are absolutely giving it their all to find out who finishes P9, P10, respectively, as they go along here. Prudhomme just trying to stay in the lead here. Kevin Lord and 410 swapping positions once. They swap it back a second time here. That 125 and that 23 there, the green and gold Rolex car, the 125, the 23 of 410, the white and purple car just behind, and Prudhomme is the blue and green just ahead there as they go through. The 166 going to lead us in the charge down to turn 9 as we are 1 to go for this race.
Yep, watching this battle, we saw that the white flag has come out. Jeunesse taking that lead. Lamoureux 4/10 of a second back. He doesn't have a lot of opportunity to try and catch him back up. The 312 further up. And Archambault, after that contact with Landry, we might see a replay here, but we're getting close to the end of this one.
That we are here as we dial up a replay here, the 124 and the 774. Here's what happened between Norris and Archambault. This is hard braking into turn 3, and again, rear bumper, bump, bump, and there's the pullover. and just let him go. Not a mind in the world. But as they do that, we check back in up front with the 312 of Jeunesse, bringing it through the final corners. It's been pressure, it's been challenge, but in the end, Jeunesse has the fastest lap and is gonna get the victory here in round number 4 of Simu Nation Porsche Cup around the Red Bull Ring, powered by NOX Gaming.
Lemoreau with a valiant second place finish. Started first, finished second. Bouchard up 2 spots to finish third. Kevin Norris after the contact with Archambault finishing fourth. And Archambault, I think, just wanted to take the points and finish out with a good P5.
An amazing run from everyone there. And then that battle, for those of you who are wondering, with 410 and Lord, I mean, they are still trying to find something somewhere in the back, but in the end, they do have to cross the line eventually, and they'll cross the line just as they were. It hits a point there where it's worth finishing. And I tell you what, if you're Jeunesse, that donut is very well deserved, even though it looks like the traction control prevented a good donut there from the 312. The 774 of Norris, the teammate was pulling up to say congratulations. Unfortunately, it looks like Jeunesse dropping out before. Let's go to our post-race results here as the final few cars cross the line. Let's get an idea of where your favorite driver finished, where things are, and what happened. Jeunesse started second, finished first. Lemoreau finished second, started first. And then things got crazy from there. Bouchard, Norris, Archambault, Landry, Bork, Mosley, Prudhomme, and 410. Your top 10 finish it out. And I tell you what, they were scrapping from start to finish here. Jacob.
Yes, indeed. The middle part of the pack once again putting on an excellent battle. Kevin Lord just barely missing out on the top 10 and 11th. Pierre Laporte up to 12th. Simon Seguin didn't take a lap in qualifying, but managed to make up 11 spots after the start to finish 13th. Cruteau, after some issues mid-race, ended up 14th. Parent in 15th. Gagnon, McLaughlin in 16th. Brett Swift in 17th. Morency in 18th. Languedoc in 19th after some issues, and Sebastien Delage in P20. Oziganov, after an issue toward the end of the race, ended up 21st. Chaufal in 22nd. Boyer in 23rd. And Max Maisonneuve rounds out your field in 24th.
What an absolutely amazing race we just watched here. 40 minutes of some of the hardest racing I think I've seen, but that is what Red Bull Ring brings. Let's talk to the winner of the day here. Arnaud Jeunesse was the fastest car on track, but started second, and in the end, Arnaud, it was just a great battle there to the end. How did you get the pass done?
Oh my god. I don't know. I feel like I had a little bit more downforce than David on this one. So it was a little bit of a gamble to have that much downforce, since there's 3 long straights, and then the middle sector is quite tricky when you don't have a lot more wing. So I tried to capitalize on that. So using the straights to get closer, and then trying to make the move on 3, 4, and 5. That was something. I mean, I was tense. I was tense, gripping my wheel, making sure David was flying cleanly. I know he did. I hope I left him enough space. I haven't watched the replay yet, but I'm pretty stoked with that result and that battle. I mean, it was quite cool.
I will tell you right now, on our end, it was exciting. I might lose my voice at the end of this race, to be honest with you. But looking through at things, I mean, such a great battle, such a great run there from everyone. I got to ask, once you got in the lead, were you looking in your mirror at all? Were you worried, or were you just focused on the track ahead saying, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up?
More of the later, to be honest. I know. I mean, Phil and David were pretty fast, especially on the straights. As I was mentioning, I was running a little bit more downforce, but it's quite tough to make a move with the Porsche, as even though you have ABS, especially at turn 2, you have like a big braking zone, but you can't really push too much your braking marker. So I was probably looking too much at my mirror, because at some point I noticed that they were battling, and then I got a little bit of a breathing room with maybe a 1 second, and then I said, okay, I got this. And then the next thing you know, you make one little mistake, and then they were right back into it. So yeah, I mean, they were quite fast. I'm a little bit lucky, to be honest, to get away with it. David was quite close to me at the end, but yeah, I'm gonna take this home, and looking forward to the next race.
For sure. On 2 weeks, it's Long Beach. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, of course. My buddies at Unit Sim Sport. Thanks a lot for supporting me. Same for Kevin. Tonight we had a great qualifying together, and especially I would like to thank Anthony Landry. He gave me that super mega lap at the end with a little bit of draft that allowed me to be P2, and then yeah, the rest is history. So thanks to all of you, all the league sponsors. Thanks a lot, and thanks to you guys. You're doing an amazing job.
Awesome. Thank you, Arnaud. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Man, what an absolute amazing race here. Jacob, before we send this one into the sunset and we take another 2 weeks off of the Porsche Cup, which it's heartbreaking we take 2 weeks off, but I know I need some rest after this race. Any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, it was another great race. It's a real good showcase of the quality of racing that we see here in Simu Nation. The Porsche Cup is my favorite of the series that they're currently running, and I can't wait to get to it next time.
It's going to be amazing to see here. And of course, next race coming up here for Simu Nation is the LMGT3 Masters. That comes on the 10th of March, so make sure you tune in for that. And of course, on behalf of everyone here at B-Speed, on behalf of the beautiful camera work by Sagar Bakshi in the background, on behalf of Jacob, my name is Brad. We've taken you start to finish. Be sure to join us on the next time where we take you start to finish yet again.